So now it's time to cut the shirt. So this is my shirt length. I'm going to add 2 inches hemming allowance to that. So I folded this by the widest part of his body, which is his hip. I added 4 inches to it and then divided by 4, then added the sewing allowance. So that's how I know how much I should fold. I'm going to mark the shoulder now. The shoulder plus joining allowance is 8.5. I'm going to slant it by 2 inches. And then the neck width, I'll use 2 inches for the neck width. And the neck depth, I'll use 3.5. I'll just cut this. So I'm going to use that to cut the back. Okay, so for the back, I like to add the pleat I usually see on guys' clothing. So this is how I do it. I first just draw, give it 1 inch. Can be 1 inch, can be 1.5. Like the pleat can be 1 inch wide, 1.5 inches wide, 2 inches wide as you want it to be. So this is me giving allowance for the pleats, the back pleat. So I want to, for guys, the back is usually longer than the front. So I'm going to add that back addition to it. So I'm using 3 inches. For information, I did not formally learn men's clothing. Methods here and there, and formed my own way of doing it. I remember watching a lot of tutorials. I did a lot of try and error. I finally got my own method of doing it. So now to get the neck for the back, I'm going to fold this over the front panel by 0.5 because I'm going to join it, the joining allowance for the shoulder is 0.5, so I'm just going to fold it by 0.5 like so. Because this is how it's going to sit after sewing. And then now try to get my So if this was a tutorial, what would you call this? Would you call it a master class or a beginner's class? So I'm going to just make this place straight. That's how I get the neck for backward. So like this now, I've gotten the neck. So I'm going to fold it back again. And make sure it is overlapping by 0.5. Let me just place this in this. Alright, so here now I'm going to mark the round armhole. I'm going to use 8.5 inches. So that's like his bust line, and then from there to I'll try to get his half length, like 16.5. Just to mark where just to get where I'll mark the waist, and then from the waist I measured 9 inches down for the hip. So I know that this is the hip, this is the waist, this is the bust. So his bust is 41 as 10.25. So I'm going to mark 10.25 right here. Plus 1.5 inches allowance. And then for the waist, just subtract 3 inches from the bust, which is 38 for each case, divided by 4, 9.5. And just subtract 3 inches from whatever your bust is. That will be your waist area, because you don't want it to be too shapy. And then the hip also is 10.25 plus 1.5 swing allowance. 10.25, same thing, because it's straight up. 1.5 swing allowance. So for the armhole, I'm just gonna do something really simple like this. I'm going to bring it just a little bit inwards. I have the top. I'm going to notch here, and I'll notch the down part too. I'm gonna start from okay. So the next thing I want to do now is to cut facing for the front and for the back. So let's cut facing for this one. I want to open this place I'm going to open it by 6 inches. The placket area, I'll open it by 6 inches. So I want my facing to go beyond the opening area. So I'm going to shape this up a bit. I don't really have any particular measurement for it. So that's the facing from the front. So I'm going to slit it open now. I want to slit it open by 6 inches. I'm just gonna measure 6 inches. That's where the slitting will stop. So this I'm going to cut stay, normal paper stay. I'll cut stay with it, add stay to it before sewing it to the bodies. So I'm going to cut the facing for the back. So I'm going to, start from this line. I'm not adding pleats to the facing. I have to remove the allowance for the pleat from the facing. That's what I'm doing right now. With this, you can give it any shape you want. I like this to be like 4 inches, and this one should be like 6 inches from that place. So with this, you can give it any shape you want. Let me just give it one shape. So I'm going to also add paper stay to this before joining it. I'm going to measure the armhole of the shirt minus the sewing allowance. I added sewing allowance of 1.5, so minus the sewing allowance, I'll just measure from that point. Then minus 0.5. I'll be joining the shoulder by 0.5. I'll also do for this side too. Minus 0.5. Minus 1.5. So that's 19.5 altogether. So now to cut my sleeve. So I'm going to fold it by 19.5. So I'm folding it by 19.5. and then I'm going to fold it again. All right. So the next thing, I'm going to remove 2.5 hemming allowance. Then I'm now going to add the sleeve length itself, which is 8 inches plus 0.5 joining allowance. So that's 8.5. So I'm going to bring this down by 5.5 inches. And then I'm just going to draw a very simple arc, like very simple curve. So I'm going to measure it. If it's going to be enough to cover, yeah, it's enough. So the round sleeve now is 13, which is 6.5. I'm going to add 1 inch sewing allowance to that. So this now, I'm just going to extend it out a bit. The reason why I extend it is because when it's time to fold it back in, you just for hemming. So when it's time to fold it back in for hemming, it will be sufficient for it. So I'm going to notch it. That's it. So I'm going to show you the Agbada next. Okay, so here is the Agbada. Before recording this video, I'd already cut it and given it to a designer to help me do the design, the embroidery. And that's what we have here. So all I have to do now is to finish the hemming and tack it, just to sew it. That's all I have to do. But the embroidery is already there. Okay, so he didn't want the design from the original. The original style has one crown design here. He didn't want that. He just wanted something, the simple parts of it, and that's exactly what I have. So I'm going to show you how the end product after sewing it. Yeah, let's go and sew. Okay guys, here is my Agbada. So I've hemmed it all around, and this is what we have. Don't mind me, I don't have a male mannequin. So I'm just going to use Annabelle here. You're wondering who Annabelle is. Annabelle is my mannequin. That's the name I gave it. I gave all my machines name. They all have identity. And this one right here is the senior girl, Annabelle. All right. So I don't have a male mannequin. I would have shown you the full set of Agbada bomb. So I hope to get a picture when the owner wears it.